Hey everyone, Jack Yugs here again, and you know what time it is? It's Yu-Gi-Oh time. That's right. Okay, so basically, I thought I'd bring you guys a new segment that I'm trying to start up, and it's basically going to be called simply Which is Better. Now, I'm going to be discussing decks, cards, and possible plays that you can do in possible situations. So, I'm going to kick things off with the 4 decks that I think are currently at the top of the meta right now. And basically, these are the 4 decks I'm considering playing for Nationals. I'm really looking for opinions on this, guys. Which you think is the best deck? Which you think is the most consistent deck? And yeah, that's basically it. I'm really looking for opinions at the moment. Taking any kind of thoughts in, and I'll be giving all my thoughts out on what deck I think is the best. So, here we go. We'll start off with Chaos Control. This deck has seen a lot of play since the September format as BLS came out. BLS is obviously one of the best cards in the game, no doubt about that, and it makes the deck so powerful, especially with Chaos Sorcerer being at 3. The deck is just crazy. So, what it does is, it basically relies on all its monsters, which is not a bad thing, considering you can't MST or Heavy Storm a monster. So, what it does is, it brings out one of these 2 guys with its little plays like Tour Guide, Sangam, Zenmaines, you know, and then you have the Darks Engrave when you detach for Zenmaines. Or bringing out Thunder King, which is controlling the board, and that is also a light monster, so you have the mix of light and darks. Then you put one of these cards on the board and just destroy the whole field. These cards can just turn the game state around so much with their ridiculous effects and high attack. So that's why I like this deck a lot, considering it relies on monsters instead of spell and traps, and you don't have to take that long to set up your plays. Because, of course, you don't have any major plays, all you want to do is just drop these cards. Or even Caius. Caius is a great monster in this deck, and it's really powerful. So, I'm considering running this deck due to the fact as it is amazingly powerful in its monsters, and it doesn't rely on too much things happening. So this is definitely under my consideration, and I'm wondering what you guys think of this deck compared to the other ones I'm about to show you. But yeah, Chaos Control, definitely a great deck, and you know, it has won a YCS recently, being YCS Kansas City, Courtney Waller taking that out. Okay, the next deck has not won a YCS yet, although it has not been out for that long. This deck, although it is, you know, not doing that great on track record, it is definitely one of the cheapest out of these decks to make, considering you don't need to run tour guides, but of course it's always better to have them. This deck, of course, is the Dark Insects Inzektorz. Okay, I've played this deck before, and I can say that this deck is extremely consistent, but the fact is, it relies on a normal summon. You need your normal summon for the turn, and that can get quite annoying. If you have a lot of monsters in hand that are 4-star under that you need to normal summon, which you usually do, like if you're not playing the Tour Guide version, like Mystic Tomato, Sangam possibly, Armageddon Knight, and then of course Dragonfly and Centipede. Now, these monsters sometimes tend to clump in your hand, and if you summon the Dragonfly and go for the Hornet play, they can just Solemn Warning and you're gone for a turn, leaving you completely defenseless to everything. This doesn't happen all the time, but it can get a bit clumpy, and it is kind of annoying sometimes. The fact I don't like this deck so much is that it gets killed by Effect Veiler, which is not a hard card to get. It's easily attainable in Rare, which is worth around $10, and it is coming out in Super Rare, which I think will be worth around $5. And it absolutely rips this deck apart, and I'm not sure if it's going to be so great. Like I said, has not won a YCS. It did take 3 out of the 4 spots for top 4 in YCS Germany. Now, considering that was a Dino-Rabbit-based top 32, it makes me think it will be very good against Dino-Rabbit matchup, which is something I like about the deck. Next is, of course, the overhyped, well, not overhyped, but the very hyped, very strong, very powerful Wind Ups. This deck has amazing potential and can realistically beat your opponent first turn without OTKing them, without even attacking. So what it does is it summons cards crazily, just special summons, and then discards your opponent's whole hand. Well, that's what everyone thinks. But also, the deck takes a lot of skill to play if you don't actually open with the loop, which you don't, of course, all the time. I can say most of the time I kind of do, but there's also those effect veilers or maxis running around, and even if you go second, they can stop you with a lot of things like Solemn Warning, Fiendish Chain, or even Bottomless Trap Hole kind of puts you out of the loop mode. But this deck is extremely ridiculous in its plays and can definitely win the game more easily than these other decks. But I'm only worried about the consistency part, as sometimes you can open up with dead hands, especially when they play Thunder King Rai on you. It's very hard to get rid of, because all these monsters in this deck are under 1500 except Hunter, and that's only 1600. Thunder King Ryo does do a lot against this deck, and as it is increasingly seeing play, I'm not sure that this would be the best deck to run at a Nationals. Although it is very good, I'm just not sure if it would be the best choice. Leave your thoughts on this, guys. I'm currently running this deck at the moment, and I would like to know what people think on that deck, especially. This is a deck that is extremely consistent, as seen in past YCSs, past results, and all that jazz. It's very good, it's very beefy, and of course it is Dino Rabbit. These are just generic cards. I had a Lagia, but I'm not sure where that went, so I don't have anything like specific to Dino Rabbit. But yeah, as you can see, it's got a lot of great cards in the deck, just from these three. I mean, you know, minus Gold Suck, Tuaguy and Levier, probably two of the best cards in the game that really utilizes these cards really well. Obviously the deck is just nuts. I mean, I can't really say much more about it. It controls the game so much. The only thing it has problems with is big monsters, aka Chaos. And of course other big monsters like Gauze and whatever Exceed you can get out that has enough attack to beat over Lagia or Dolka. I've tested the deck a bit on Dueling Network. Of course, Dueling Network is... I don't really like it that much. I just don't think it's the greatest testing place. But I haven't done so well with it. My draws have been pretty average. But considering its recent form at YCSs, I'm starting to think more and more about playing this deck. I mean, taking 15 spots, I think it was, in top 32 at YCS Atlanta, and then 19 in YCS Germany. That's just crazy numbers, and it's looking really consistent. So I'm thinking definitely about playing it. And it doesn't really get killed by Effect Veil. It doesn't get killed by Effect Veil at all, actually. Gets kind of a little bit hurt by Max C, but again, you know, Effect Veil is an easily attainable card. Max C is at least $100 now. A lot more people are going to have Effect Veilers than Max C's, so I would rather play a deck that gets hurt by Max C than gets killed by Effect Veiler. That being said, Rabbit, it has a problem against big monsters, even with cards like Forbidden Lance, Smashing Ground, and Protection in traps. But I can't really see a more consistent deck than Rabbit. I mean, it's just so great. But anyway, that's all my thoughts on these decks, guys. Again, I love your opinions on all of them, and I hope you give me some good ones. Comment on which deck you think is the best, and which deck you think would be the most consistent or the most optimal, to play at a Nationals-based style. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, or whatever. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos, and I hope you liked it. Cheers for watching.